road on. What's supposed to happen? So I'm just out for a drive with Dorothy. I thought it was about time I came out, and I thought you guys might be interested to hear why I wanted to get a Morris Minor and why I drive a Morris Minor. I'd drive her every day if I could, but Charles is convinced that she's not really suitable for that. She's not reliable, but I would beg to differ. I've liked Morris Minors ever since I was a kid, really. When I was in school, a friend of mine, her brother had a Morris Minor, and I always remember going in it, and he'd give us a lift places and we'd go out. And I always wanted one. I had a Morris Mini as my first car. It was an 850. It was a bit rotten. It lasted 1 year. How on earth it managed to get through the MOT before I bought it, I have no idea. But that really got me into this type of car properly as a driver. So I had my 850 Mini, and a few years later I had a Mini 1000. But then I went on to modern cars for a while, and it was only a couple of years ago that we bought Dorothy. She's great. I absolutely love driving her. See, I like Morris Minors because they're honest, they're sort of real, they feel solid. I mean, this car's 51 years old. She was built in 1970. I mean, she's only done nearly 71,827 miles in 51 years. It's absolutely amazing. So a lot about her is original, and it just feels like that. I mean, there's been little bits of modernisation done to her. I mean, she's got better brakes, she's got servo disc brakes on the front, she's got electronic ignition, so I haven't got to worry about brakes or anything like that. But that's it, really. She had the leaf springs in place. Underneath, she's really solid. And when I had her up on the ramps the other day, it was really interesting to go underneath and have a look and see what she was like there. But of course, driving a car like Dorothy is a bit different from driving a modern car. You have to actually drive her. I mean, you can't just get in fifth gear and stick your foot down and brake when you want and expect the car to pull away. But apart from the fact we've only got 4 gears, when it actually comes down to it, through normal driving, you only really use 3, because the gearbox doesn't have synchromesh on gear 1, only has it on 2, 3 and 4. So if you're moving, you've only really got those 3 gears that you can select from. And you do have to change gear, you do have to pick the right gear for the road. We've got quite a sharp end coming up here. There's no way I'm going to get round it in 4th gear, not and have any acceleration on the other side to pull me out of it. So it's a case of remembering that you're never going to have the acceleration of a modern car. You've got to be in the right gear, otherwise you will lose revs. And if you lose revs in something like this, it will just stall and go, and then you have to come to a complete stop, reverse gear and get going. The other thing about a car at this sort of age is that there's no power steering. So if you do have to come to a stop here and pull away, that's what I mean about first gear, you can't keep rolling. So yeah, as I was saying about the steering, we've got no power steering in this, which isn't so bad because I've got the most massive steering wheel in front of me that you could ever imagine. I think it must be about 18 inches. But you need it, because if you're going slowly, then you know you need to have that leverage, because there's nothing else helping. Nothing else helping. You also got to remember is that those leaf springs make it really, really bouncy. Going up's not so bad. If you carry too much speed going down the other side, you certainly know about it. But they're so pleasing to the eye, aren't they, Morris Minors? You know, they're such a distinctive shape. You're not going to miss one. You're not going to think that it's something else. You know, modern cars these days, you know, apart from the fact that a lot of them are built on the same platforms, you know, they all look fairly similar. But Morris Minor is not going to get mistaken for anything else. And you always get a smile. Even if I am bouncing myself around rather a lot. So I say you just have to get into a lower gear, slowly up. Slowly down the other side. There we go. Still bouncing around like an idiot. I don't think it makes a blind bit of difference actually. If you go over at 10 miles an hour, you go over at 10, I think it's exactly the same. About the last speed bump that we're going to go over now, so right, that feels a bit better. Fortunately, I'm going to come to oh no, I think I'll be alright. Keep rolling, yes. See this, but the end of my indicator stalk, there's a little green light that flashes in time for the indicators, and that was one of the reasons that I wanted this particular model of Morris Minor, because I remember that from my friend's brother's car. I remember it well, that we're driving around at night and the inside of the car would light up green with the indicator. You just see this like green car pulsating down the road. It's quite fun, really. I guess it's time to go home. Get it all tucked up under a cover, nice and clean and dry. She'll have a break now for the week while I have to go to work. Although if we have nice weather, I might get her out one lunchtime. Because that's the thing about Morris Minor, once you've driven her once, that's it, you want to just keep driving. Here we are, back in the village. Get her home, get her dusted down, check the oil. So that's all, folks. enjoyed that nice little drive? I enjoyed it anyway. Hearing me prattle on about my little car. I was going to pull straight in, but Charles has got the bin in the way. He's moved it. There we go. Right. See you later. Bye.